Living things cannot survive without air. One can live without food and water for a few days, but it is difficult to live for more than a few minutes without air. We cannot see or smell air, but can feel its presence in many ways when it starts moving or blowing. You have learned about the process of winnowing in Lesson 5. This process depends on moving air. Moving or blowing air is called wind. Activity 1. Making a pinwheel. Things needed: a stick, paper, pin. Method: let us make a pinwheel, firki, following the instructions shown. Hold the stick of the pinwheel and place it in different directions in the open. Move the pinwheel back and forth. What do you observe? The blades of pinwheel start rotating. We will also notice that the blades of the pinwheel rotate fast when there is a breeze blowing. What makes these blades rotate? It is the moving air that makes the blades of the pinwheel rotate. Activity 2. To show that air occupies space. Things needed: a glass, water, a vessel. Method: take an empty glass. Is it really empty or does it have something in it? Hold this glass in an inverted position, with its open mouth facing downwards. Now, dip the open mouth of the glass into a vessel filled with water as shown in figure. You will find that the water does not enter the inverted glass. Why? The glass was not empty at all. In fact, it was completely filled with air. When we turned it upside down, there was no space for air to escape. This air in the empty glass prevents the water from entering it. This shows that the glass that appears to be empty to us is actually filled with air. This proves that air is present everywhere around us, even in water. When we tilt the glass held in water slightly, we find that the air in the glass comes out in the form of air bubbles with a bubbly sound, because the water filled up the empty space that the air had occupied. Conclusion: from this activity, we can understand the following properties of air. Air is present everywhere around us. Air has no color, colorless and transparent gaseous substance. Air occupies space. Atmosphere. We live on the earth, and there is a huge layer of air all around the earth. Air forms the earth's atmosphere. The blanket of air that surrounds the earth is called atmosphere. The atmosphere extends to a height of about 1,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface. As we go higher up in the atmosphere, the amount of air becomes lesser. We know that the Earth exerts a force of pull on everything around it. This force is called gravity. The gravity pulls the layer of air towards the surface of the Earth. Composition of air. Water vapor. Air contains water vapor. When it comes in contact with a cool surface, the water vapor of the air condenses. It is the water vapor in the air that rises high in the sky, along with hot air, gets cooled, condenses to form clouds, and brings rain on the earth. Oxygen. All living organisms need oxygen for breathing. In places where oxygen is not sufficient, people use oxygen cylinders for breathing. For example, a mountaineer climbing a high mountain and a diver going into the deep sea use oxygen cylinders. Patients with breathing problems and patients in hospitals are also given extra oxygen from oxygen cylinders. The oxygen in the air is also necessary for burning. Nitrogen. We have just learnt that about 4/5 part of air around us by volume is nitrogen. Nitrogen neither burns itself nor supports the process of burning. Hence, it controls the burning of things in the air. Think, What would happen if nitrogen is not present in the air? Nitrogen is an important part of our food items as well. For example, all proteins contain some amount of nitrogen. Proteins are essential for the growth of living organisms. Carbon dioxide. In a closed room, if there is some material burning, we feel suffocated. Green plants need this carbon dioxide to prepare their food by the process of photosynthesis. Activity